Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, let's go over Tesla. The market's about to close in just about 6 minutes or so. So yeah, as usual, we're gonna go over the market, talk about what happened, discuss it, see what it means for us moving in to the rest of the week, which I guess is just one day. And next week, of course, being a pretty big week for Tesla, in my opinion, because you have Investor Day on Wednesday, I believe. Aftermarket, I'm pretty sure, which is going to be also, of course, pretty exciting stuff. But all that being said and done, let's just jump into it. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help quite a bit. And as usual, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Make your own decision and do your own research, all that good stuff. So Tesla going to be looking like it's ending the day just a bit over $200, probably around, almost $202, we'll say, which is up about 0.5% or so from yesterday's move. A pretty not too volatile day, but for the most part, Tesla did go up and down, all the way as low as 196. And in the morning, it actually did exactly what I said, right? Yesterday, how I believe Tesla will most likely come up to around 205, get rejected as a retest, and then most likely continue downwards. Well, it did exactly that. It actually came right up in the morning, retested that breakdown, which was this line right here, which is pretty much at 205. And then, of course, from there, it went straight back down. And then it actually found support under 200, which was a little surprising. And then it went actually back above 200. So, it's a little surprising it actually found the support and the bounce here, but that's most likely because of the market bouncing pretty nicely today as well. With SPY, for instance, bouncing off this trend line right here, this yellow line at the bottom. You can see that started all the way back here, came up here, a bunch of supports, and now we're essentially right back at that line. Once again, in SPY, above 400 is actually not too shabby. However, tomorrow we have PCE numbers, I believe, coming out pre-market, which, as usual, can potentially influence the market quite a bit. So we'll definitely have to see how that goes. I currently have pretty much no positions. I have I'm 90% cash at the moment, essentially. Waiting for this kind of stuff. I'm being very patient right now, kind of waiting for all these things to play out. But all that being said, yeah, let's just talk about it. So where does Tesla go from here, right? What's going to happen? So again, I stand by what I said. I am still more bearish than bullish on Tesla here by, a good amount, actually. I'm like maybe 20% bullish and like 80% bearish here. And I'll explain what I need to see, what I would want to see to happen for me to potentially flip bullish on Tesla once again, short term. Because regardless of what happens short term for Tesla, even if there isn't somehow another rally upwards, let's say all the way up to like 215 again or something like that, which, technically is still possible, right? It's not impossible. Like whatever happens, like I still believe that, the move down will happen. It's just, maybe it'll take a little bit longer than we thought. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. I do believe that move will happen. It's just, I don't know exactly when it'll happen. I just know, I'm just very confident it will happen at some point. Whether it's next week, whether it's in a month, whatever it takes, it will happen. Nonetheless, though, let's talk about it. So, like I said, in order for me to flip bullish on Tesla for the short term, at least, to potentially rally a little bit higher, I would essentially want it to break back above this channel right here that it failed to do today. So, in other words, to make it simple, pretty much tomorrow, anytime tomorrow, anything above, like, to make it very simple, 210. Let's just say 210. Anything above 210, I personally would think Tesla actually has, legs to go a little bit higher. Potentially maybe back to like this 216 level. And if that breaks, that's when I do think that 220 to 222-ish level or whatever, will come in play, right? But up until $210 at least gets broken, I am more bearish than bullish on Tesla. So that's my like key target for flipping a little bit bullish once again for the short term. Until that happens, I do believe there is much more potential and much more room to the downside than there is to the upside. I want to make that very clear. However, with that being said, for the bears, what do the bears want to see to make this continuation to the downside, actually continue? Well, essentially, it's pretty simple. You want to pretty much break under 190. 190 is 192, very important level to break back under. Like you really want to see that kind of 190-ish level lose for the bears. You want to see this trend line fall below as well. So essentially, the way I look at it is, if you look on, let's say, the 4-hour chart, after such a move, right? After such an aggressive move upwards, there's not a lot of like substance, if you will, right now holding Tesla back from just falling. If certain key metrics get broken. I guess an analogy or whatever, an easier way to think about this is, think of this as like a bridge, right? This bridge got constructed, and these, let's say, 2 yellow lines right here you see are like the bridge's like support legs, right? That's what's keeping this bridge afloat. And if these two kind of start letting loose, if you will, start breaking apart, that's when things can collapse, and that's when I believe Tesla can potentially start the actual aggressive move to the downside, whenever that may be. And, we already lost technically one of them, right? This is why I said, for me to flip bullish for short term, I really want to see this leg right here, or this support, if you will, get recaptured. I would want to see this support, this top yellow line, essentially rebuilt to hold that bridge up once again, right? And this right now, we're on the second one. So we're in between both of them, right? But if this second one also starts to lose and we lose 190, that to me is where like those, those legs holding the bridge up really start to collapse. And that's not really good. That's not what you want to see. And I do believe that there is a lot of room to fall once that does happen. I mean, I guess if it does happen, but I strongly believe it will. It's just a matter of when, not if, right? So that's kind of what I'm personally waiting for, and that's what I am obviously looking for. And I talked about this several times as well in terms of, okay, well, let's say it does finally happen. Let's say we do lose this, these legs holding up this bridge, right? How far does Tesla fall? I mean, we've talked about this several times, but in case you haven't seen those videos or you forgot or whatever, to revisit it, essentially, I would think that, assuming the bullish trend is still intact, because I do believe Tesla has potentially resumed a midterm bullish trend off of the move that we just recently had, mainly because it broke above 200. That to me tells me that this Fibonacci is applicable here in the sense of that, if the bullish trend is alive, that means Tesla will fall back down to around 160, can be as low or as high as 174-ish, can be as low as potentially all the way down to about this 145-ish level with the gap fill, right? But somewhere around that general level is where I would personally be looking for Tesla to fall to. And again, assuming the bullish trend remains and it actually continues to be bullish, which I do think it will, that means it'll get a bounce from here and then we can continue on even higher, which would be fantastic. And I think the move from here, if it does come down here and holds, will be a very fantastic move to the upside. I do believe that will happen, though I do think that, this whole thing will take, a long time to play out, like from here, then all the way here. Like just this move alone coming down here will probably take like another couple of weeks at least, if not maybe a month, right? And then the move from there to, moving up even higher probably will take like several months, right? So keep that in mind. It's not going to happen overnight as much as people want it to happen just instantly, move down one day, move all the way up the next day and just get it done with. It obviously takes a lot longer, and this is where impatience usually comes in, and this is usually where people make those really bad decisions, bad trades, whatever, mainly just because of boredom and or impatience. That's very important to remember, right? But all that being said and done, that's pretty much more or less what I'm just personally just waiting on and being very patient about. The market has officially closed Tesla at pretty much $202, which is pretty much up 0.5% compared to the market. A slight underperformance, nothing completely absolutely major, but definitely an underperformance nonetheless, with the market performing obviously a little bit better than Tesla did today. Take a look at the daily closure candles on the market, for instance. Arguably a hammer candle right here, not a bad one as well, but it is red, so it's a little bit less bullish than a green one, for instance. Like for instance, if this ended up, let's say, if SPY closed at, let's say, 402 or something like that at the highs, that would be pretty bullish, but it didn't. So a little bit of a wick at the top, and it's also red, so it's not bad, but it's not like, same with this, right? Like, the candle itself is not bad looking at all, but it's red. It's a red candle, which makes it a little bit less bullish. Same thing with Tesla, more or less, right? Very similar candle to the SPY. So pretty much Tesla more or less following the market. Also not a horrible candle, but again, definitely want to take it with a pretty major grain of salt, in my opinion, these kind of candles right here, in terms of looking at them as being bullish. But that's just my opinion, of course, guys. So let me know what you think down below. Like we talked about, the VIX did come down for the gap fill. We did talk about this yesterday. That's exactly what happened today. And of course, with PCE coming out tomorrow, wouldn't be surprised if the VIX potentially gets a bounce from here and we move up once again up to these, kind of 23-ish level. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But if that were to happen, that means the market is most likely going down, and that means Tesla most likely is going down as well. So all that being said, that's what I'm seeing, guys. Let me know what you think down below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Very last thing I want to look at is very quickly the Bollinger Band, which you can see is really starting to contract. So that's going to be very curious as to watch happen as it contracts and gets tighter, similar to what it did over here, and then a massive move happened. I think once this contracts, and the longer it contracts for, the more explosive the move will be once it finally does come to fruition. But all that being said, thanks for watching, guys. See you for the next one. Peace.